Some of the things that you should expect, I think, and in terms of a term sheet, is you should expect liquidation preferences. You should expect the fact that a venture capitalist, if things go wrong, are going to try and get out whatever they can, which generally is very little. You should expect preemptive rights, the rights for the funder to follow on if they want and if things are going positively. You should expect rights of first refusal. You should expect anti-dilution rights. So if you've funded at a certain pre-money and things go wrong and there's an opportunity to fund at a lower amount, the venture capitalist, the capital provider, is going to ensure that they are not unfairly diluted. You should absolutely expect your partner to want full information rights and to understand your business well. And one of the things I would say is, at the outset, disclosure is, and it was lovely in the analogy used earlier, but make sure that you understand as much about each other. You wouldn't marry someone that you'd picked up in a bar. So, and on the other side, disclose everything you can. Make sure that if things go wrong, you did your best to make sure that that doesn't come as a surprise. So many of these relatively good marriages break up for the wrong reason. So I would say full disclosure is incredibly important. The right to appoint board members, and something that's usually quite thorny is the right to replace the CEO. Talking to this kind of forum, which is so entrepreneur and founder-centric, that's a tough thing to say, but often you start to need to think like a shareholder. We have, in 2 or 3 situations now, we have opposed the venture capitalists in terms of replacing the CEO, either because we thought it was premature or because we thought that the candidate wasn't good enough. But if you can find an outstanding candidate who's been there, done that before, and there comes a time where potentially you need to start thinking as a shareholder. The kind of things that you shouldn't accept, in my view, is a big valuation from an initial funder who could be a high net worth individual or an angel, but someone who can't follow on. And it's kind of what Jason said earlier, is when you're going out to raise funding, you're in the best position if you don't need that funding. You're in the best position if you can say, our seed investor is very happy to follow on here or bridge us in the next round. So taking just the highest pre-money, the highest valuation that you could find with no follow-on capacity, in my view, is an absolute no-no. There's an interesting discussion: is do you take as much as you can get? And again, in my experiences, and it was mentioned earlier, is sometimes taking too much money is not a good thing either, because it starts to it's no longer a scarce resource, and that means bad things in terms of how you run your business. And then it just goes without saying, responses such as, when you ask about a term, a response such as, well, this is a traditional term, and hand-waving responses you should never, ever put up with. You should always diligence that and check if it really is. And finally, if something's milestone funded, if it's being funded on milestones, make sure that you are very conservative and you articulate those milestones really well.